Good morning, it's Lance here for Best Ever Mountain Biking, and today's going to be an epic day. The guys have all hired e-bikes. Some of them are a bit embarrassed to be seen on e-bikes, so we'll blur their faces out. But anyway, we're going to ride up Rainbow Mountain, which is usually a pretty slog of a climb, so we're going to see if we can ride to the top and obviously come back down again. So come join us. Rainbow Mountain is a serious cool place to go for a ride. It's not only a really cool downhill track, but it's also a very scenic place to go for a ride as well. Shortly into the track on the left hand side there's a lookout. Really cool view, worth checking out when you get there. Now today's ride there were three of us. There was Steve, Brent and a rider who wishes to remain anonymous. He feels that being seen on an e-bike will seriously affect his reputation, so I'm going to respect his privacy and I won't name Graham.
Not having fun?
Now normally this is a real serious slog up this hill. On a normal bike you'll find it pretty tough going. I normally end up walking some of it. You can see this track has other people on it as well, walkers, and if you're on a normal bike you're probably going to be walking some of it. But on the e-bike it was a really cool ride up there. Even the anonymous guy I think enjoyed it as well. There are a few lookouts on the way up. Normally if you're on your normal bike you're going to want to stop, but it's worth stopping anyway, get a bit of a photo stop, something to put on Instagram. Some amazing views up there.
Yes.
The anonymous guy was trying to pretend like he wasn't having fun, but I know that powering that motor up the hill he was having a blast. Once at the top, there's a lookout there. If it's open, it's definitely worth going up inside. There's a guy up there, and his main job is to check for fires. And he is a wealth of information and a really nice, friendly guy. So go up there, and he will tell you all about the surrounding area, and you might learn a thing or two. There is also a visitor's book you can sign up there, and he usually takes your photo and he puts it up on their Facebook page.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Alright, we're into it. This is a really cool downhill track. Probably consider it a grade 3 to 4 in the dry, and I suppose like most things when it gets wet it becomes a 4 to 5. Most of the track isn't that difficult. It's one of those things that you could probably ride most of it without too much difficulty, but there's maybe 3 to 4 sections which are a bit more challenging and you might want to stop and have a look at them. Now today we'd hired the Focus Sam2 e-bikes from Electric Bike in Rotorua. They're quite a cool shop. I'm getting to quite like them. They let me back in the shop despite wrecking their last bike. And I must say today we hired the 3 e-bikes and none of them broke, so that was a good thing. If you're thinking of, is an e-bike for me, obviously demoing one's a good way to go, but it's an option. Obviously you've got to hire the bikes, but hiring a bike for a day in Rotorua and going out for a spin on an e-bike can be something a bit different. That's what we sort of looked at. It was something to do a bit different for the day. After we rode at Rainbow Mountain, we did go over to the forest for the rest of the day and had a good day checking out some of the other tracks as well. Now there's multiple lines on some of these tracks. Just choose any line. There's only one track down. We sometimes tried the trickier line. There's an easier line you can see on the inside, but sometimes it's more fun to try the trickier line.
Too nice.
Here's another section here, multiple lines. Decided to take this top outside line as it looked the trickiest one.
Well done.
Brent seemed to manage it okay as well. And Graham, the anonymous rider, maybe not so much. I think Graham, the anonymous rider, I think he did have a really good day. He's just got he's one of those guys that every time I mention e-bikes comes up with a little angry faced emoji, but I think he's getting there slowly. this is another one of these sections. Decided to take the more difficult line. Again, multiple different line choices. So yeah, you might as well try to take the more difficult line if it's available, just to make it a bit more of a challenge. Now we came out onto the road section. I guess it's sort of about halfway down, and because we're on e-bikes, we said, well, what happens if we just go back up the road and do that all again? So that's exactly what we did. I think the guys were super impressed, even that anonymous guy, how easy it was just to blast back up to the top and do the whole thing again. Alright, so I'm going to tell you a cautionary tale on this track. A young guy, won't mention his name, was riding along here, I think probably trying to do his Strava record or something stupid, and he was absolutely flying along this track. Now there's a section of this track where most tracks are fairly intuitive, and it looks like you should just be able to jump in a straight line flat out down the track. However, if you take the centre line right down the middle of the track at speed, you will literally fly straight into this tree, and I'll show you exactly where it is, and we should be coming up to that very soon. Luckily I'm going pretty slow as usual, but this young guy was going really fast, and see what I mean, smack, his head hit that tree, broke his helmet, smashed his face up a little bit. Luckily Nathan, whoops, sorry, I wasn't going to mention his name, wasn't that good looking to start with, but he did make a full recovery. So if you do this track, watch that tree, because it's easy to get caught out on. Generally speaking, the track is the most interesting at the top. I guess a lot of tracks are like that. It gets a little less interesting at the bottom, so I've edited out a lot of the bottom section of the track, but it kind of winds its way down, and then you end up coming out at a place called Kerosene Creek. This is seriously cool. It kind of makes one of the cool things about this ride is that after your long, hot ride, if you don't have an e-bike, you can have a soak in the hot thermal river. Very popular place, lots of tourists come here. So yeah, we've done it before. We didn't have a swim this day, but yeah, it can be a really cool place to have a nice hot swim. So anonymous, unnamed man, on your first time on an e-bike, what was your impression? Don't worry, your face is blurred out.
I'm loving the pedal assist.
It was a great day, wasn't it? Rainbow Mountain, pretty awesome?
It was pretty awesome, thank you.
Excellent. Man who hasn't got his face blurred out, how did you enjoy your day?
Totally stoked, gonna buy a bike immediately.
Excellent. And Mr. E-bike hater?
Going uphill was good.
Going uphill was good. What about downhill?
Yeah, I would have done it better on my own bike, but probably because I'm more comfortable on my own bike. This is just a bit heavy.
Fair enough.
Going down.
Well, that was Rainbow Mountain on e-bikes. The guys, I think, really enjoyed it, even if they're not going to admit it. If you enjoyed the video, would love it if you subscribe, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.